Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, July 20. The House of Representatives has passed a bill to amend the Transport Authority Act, paving the way for the operationalization of the 2018 Road Traffic Act. Amendments to the Transport Authority Act complement the 299-point regulations to enact the Road Traffic Act, which was recently passed in the lower house. As he piloted the bill during Tuesday's sitting, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck said the amendment would end the lawlessness, chaos, and carnage on the nation's roads.
There's no doubt that we see the indiscipline that occurs on the road. And to be sure, Madam Speaker, we need these road traffic regulations and the Act itself to come into operation so that the work of the police can be improved, and also that when they do issue tickets, that indeed there can not only be compliance, but road users can really comply with the various rules of the roads.
The amended Transport Authority Act includes a provision for a maximum fine of $500,000 or up to 6 months in jail for use of abusive or calumnious language to an inspector in carrying out his or her duties. Meanwhile, Jamaicans wishing to purchase electric vehicles will find it easier to do so. This as government has reduced the import duty to 10% and eliminated the license fees for a period of 5 years. The new duty and the removal of license fees will apply to electric vehicles that are 3 years old or less at the time of importation. Those provisions were tabled and passed as part of the Road Traffic License Duties Order 2022 and the Road Traffic License Duties Order 2022 resolution. The House of Representatives also approved the Customs Tariff Revision Amendment No. 2 Resolution 2022. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke, who piloted the resolutions, said the decision to incentivize the import duty and license fees supports government's push for a transition to electric vehicles. It's expected that by 2030, much of the state's general fleet should be electric vehicles.
We recognize that these are not panaceas, but they represent a significant step and a significant concession to facilitate Jamaicans and in the acquisition of battery electric vehicles. And the government of Jamaica, through the MSET, intends that by the year 2030, 1.1 million metric tons of carbon dioxide we would reduce our output of CO2 by that amount.
The license fee exemption is retroactive to July 14 and has been sent for gazetting. In other news, preparatory works have commenced for construction to start on the $6 billion Morant Bay Urban Center in St. Thomas. Initial works include the demolition of buildings and the clearing of land in and around the Goodyear Tire Factory. During a recent tour of the site, Prime Minister Andrew Holness expressed satisfaction with the progress made on the project. He said once completed, the development would bring vast opportunities to the parish.
Already, you see what is happening in Kingston with the construction of residential and commercial real estate. And land in Kingston, available lands for development is scarce. So the development push will be along this corridor, and it will come as far as to this point. So I am certain that this project will be economically viable and that this project will become the center of activity for the parish.
The 436,000 square foot space will house more than 50 government and private sector entities, including the municipal corporation, the parish court, a university, a library, and business process outsourcing companies. Over 3,000 new jobs are expected to be derived from the project, with 80% of the labor force being sourced locally. The civil and economic project is being spearheaded by the Factories Corporation of Jamaica, with construction being done by China Harbor Engineering Company. Funding is coming from the National Commercial Bank and other financial institutions. Already, interest has been expressed in occupying all the buildings and facilities planned for the center. In the meantime, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is calling for patience as the government continues its build-out of the eastern leg of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project. During a recent tour of the project, the Prime Minister revealed that the National Works Agency, NWA, had been instructed to make the necessary provisions to ease the level of discomfort being experienced by residents and road users. Those efforts have already begun and include reducing dust nuisance, giving residents access to roadways, as well as paving segments. The Prime Minister also disclosed that the NWA was tasked with improving drainage to allay concerns about possible flooding due to the new road alignment.
In one instance, a community has reached out to say that the new alignment will have significant economic and commercial dislocation for them. As best as possible, we are trying to accommodate that community, that is a community of Grand Spend.
Minister with responsibility for information, Robert Morgan, says he's pleased that Jamaica has become a pioneer in the adoption of digital switchover technology. This technology is called the Advanced Television Systems Committee, ATSC 3.0, also referred to as Next Generation TV. It will see the country transitioning from analog to a digital television transmission DTT system.
We have seen the vision and we have seen the potential and we have seen the opportunities. And I think it's credit to our local companies and their leaders that they have recognized how important it is to leapfrog the technology and move forward ahead of other countries.
Minister Morgan was addressing the recent ATSC Jamaica Bootcamp and seminar in Montego Bay, St. James. He says the evolution of the ATSC 3.0 standard will see more Jamaicans having access to information to improve their lives.
It will improve how Jamaicans receive information, not just in terms of the quality, as in the broadcast quality, but also in terms of the types of information that they receive.
And finally, school administrators are being reminded that registration packages at the secondary level should be no more than $6,000. The Ministry of Education and Youth issued the reminder in a bulletin on Tuesday. The ministry also reiterated that there should be no registration costs for primary schools. According to the Education Ministry, every child has a right to an education, and school administrators are being urged not to breach that right. Schools have also been instructed not to increase the parent contribution for the upcoming academic year in September. In relation to secondary school registration packages, all charges must first be approved by the ministry before they are effected. The Education Ministry also shares that non-payment of fees cannot and should not affect students or parents' acceptance of school placement or registration. School administrators are advised to work with parents to establish flexible payment schedules or plans for services or materials that must be procured. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.